Yo, what's going on, everyone? They just put out a new trailer for Bel-Air Season 4, and you already know we're going to be talking about it. First up, at the beginning of the trailer, we hear Will telling someone about his story from him coming from Philly to Bel-Air. Then we hear Aunt Viv mention to Uncle Phil about Will and Carlton going to college. So he could be talking to a college recruiter, or maybe it's for a senior project. Next, we see a board with his plans laid out and with the people that he's met before, as well as admissions, scholarship, and basketball. He really is taking the time to plan out his future. Now, things may not always go as planned, but at least he's starting somewhere. In another scene, we do see him playing basketball, and on the floor it shows Unsigned Senior Showcase. This is an event for seniors who have not yet committed to a college sports program, which means he's going to be making sure he plays his best. Hopefully he isn't too nervous and doesn't overthink things, but it will be fun to see him playing basketball again. Also, it looks like Uncle Phil, Aunt Viv, and Carlton are there to support Will, which is always good to see. Now Will is talking to someone else. He mentions long-term ownership and legacy. I'm not too sure if Will is in this scene, but someone says they're looking for more. What's their grit? I think the conversation when Will brings up legacy could be tied to him going to college. And he might be trying to let him know he wants more than basketball, that he isn't just trying to go for that he wants to achieve more. And the guy who mentions they want to see more, I wonder if it's tied to earlier in the trailer, when Will was trying to tell part of his story, but they might be looking for more. Will's just gonna have to break down his story in a unique way, because Will has been working on himself the years he's been in Bel-Air, and he's been through different things. And with all those experiences, he could tell a story in a way that would draw people in. And it seems like whatever he's doing this season, he's gonna have to work on it fast, since he said he needs more time to make something shake. And Uncle Phil told him time isn't on his side. I think he will be able to piece things together eventually. It'll just take some time, even though it's going by quickly. Now, speaking of another person who's trying to work on their future, that is Carlton. We hear him say his GPA is top of the class and Princeton would be lucky to have him. However, we do hear him say he worked so hard to get his life back on track, and he just wants to move on. That's when we see Amira, and she said move on from her or his history. The synopsis did mention Carlton will test his own resolve as he deals with the fallout of some very big decisions that could threaten his future. I guess whatever is tied to Carlton going to college didn't go too well. This is a moment that's really gonna push him to think and stay on the right path. It's cool to see Amira back, and during their conversation, it just seems like Carlton wants to move on from something, and that's a decision he will have to make. It might just be his past and has not gone away, and it's probably having an effect on him. Whether he likes it or not, his past is what he's learning from, and that's what's helping him do better so he doesn't mess up. He may just have to find a way to accept his past and know that it will be there. But it doesn't have to define him. It could be something that keeps him disciplined to not go back to how he was before. We already know Will and Carlton will be there to help each other out. I did want to add this real quick. We did see Will, Carlton, and Drew wearing the Black Cess clothing, so it seems like they're still working on it, which is good to see. This one looks like a collaboration. It has BSU on it and Bel-Air Academy. For Ashley, it mentioned that she is going through a rebellious phase and learns that the status quo may no longer serve her. She said in the trailer she's not trying to spend her high school years living in the shadow of Hillary and Carlton. Then we see her getting into a fight. She is not playing around. That girl may have said something disrespectful to them. Ashley was tired of it and was ready to fight. During that scene though, it did look like Carlton, Will, and Lisa showed up to break up the fight. So they may have a talk with her later on, and you already know Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv are going to have a talk with her as well. Now, when she said she didn't want to live in the shadow of Hillary and Carlton, it seems like she wants to do her own thing. But hopefully, she's able to figure something out and not go down the wrong path. Moving along, we hear Hillary say, "Your future can be right in front of you." And Jazz chimed in and said, "Sometimes letting go is braver than holding on out of fear." It seems Hillary has lost LaMarcus, and this season it says she will be on a journey of self-exploration. So Jazz might be one of the many people to help her out. This is the final season. I don't know if they're going to put these two back together again or they'll go back to talking more and just overall being there for each other as friends. But either way, it's good Hillary's gonna be doing some thinking and just working on things. This season for Jeffrey, it seems like there's gonna be an unexpected power shift between him and Uncle Phil, and his loyalty to the Banks family will be tested. In the trailer, we hear Aunt Viv asking someone, "Is Jeffrey okay?" Will did mention in the trailer about him getting snatched off the street. This is the final season. Maybe they'll show all what happened in the first episode, or it'll pop up in a flashback in one of the episodes. There was a scene where it looked like the house was somewhat destroyed, and there's a new character who was like a sister to Jeffrey, and her name is Dominique, who happens to be the leader of Jeffrey's former gang. And from what she said, she most likely is trying to get him to come back. And that may be one of the things that's disrupting his connection with the Banks family. There was a part where Uncle Phil even said, "What happens when he wants to walk away from this again?" Jeffrey's gonna have to make a tough decision. He obviously wouldn't want the Banks family and his family to get hurt. He's gonna have to come up with a plan to get out of that situation. Since Dominique was like a sister to him, hopefully she will eventually understand that things are different for him. But as of right now, she is not seeing that. Now in season 4, Aunt Viv is pregnant. She's struggling with reinventing herself as she looks at motherhood from a different perspective. She was telling Uncle Phil that the thought of starting over terrifies her, and Uncle Phil let her know he will be right by her side. Then we see someone familiar, an actor from the original show, Janet Hubert. She told Aunt Viv that the only plan that matters right now is love. She might be someone who helps calm down Aunt Viv about raising another child. And that's something she's gonna need if she really is terrified about everything. And besides her family, she might possibly want somebody else to talk to. I think as time goes on, before she has the baby, Aunt Viv will have people around her that will help her out, whether it's family, friends, or someone new, and that things will turn out good for her. Towards the end of the trailer, Tyra Banks was shown, and I think her character description said that she's a friend of Aunt Viv's. I did do a video on her character and a few others. If you want to check those videos out, they will be linked in the description or comments. Throughout the trailer, we see different things like the family gathering around Aunt Viv, maybe to talk about the baby or spending time together as a family. It looks like Lou is back and being there for his son since they are on good terms from what happened last season. Then they showed Snoop Dogg, not sure if he's playing a character or he's playing himself because of Will and Carlton's business. In another scene, we see Will and everyone partying. Maybe it's the seniors and they're all having fun because it's their senior year and school is almost over. It also looks like Will might be the valedictorian because it looks like he's giving a speech during graduation. He said, "Don't be afraid to let your life get flipped, turned upside down, and embrace the change ahead." That's awesome if he really is the valedictorian. It shows that he really worked hard and took things seriously. And what he spoke not only applies to many people, but himself as well. His life got turned upside down and he embraced the change. And at the end of the trailer, we see the family hugging. Hopefully, this is from a good moment. Overall, from this trailer, it looks like the family's gonna be going through different things, but at the end of the day, they're gonna be there for each other. It's cool to see them working on their future, and for some, they may not know what the future will hold. Whether it's Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv raising another child, Will and Carlton working on their future for college and more, Hillary working on herself and dealing with the loss of LaMarcus, Ashley trying to figure out what she wants to do, and Jeffrey torn between two places. I'm excited to see how the story unfolds and how the series will end. But I'm interested to hear y'all thoughts. Comment below. What do you all think will happen in season 4?